Hey, what's going on, guys? Little different angle today. I thought I'd share with you a little bit different approach today. This is more of a, I don't want to say it's a follow along per se, but this is going to be one of my favorite ground-based hip mobility sequences. One thing that I've noticed as I've gotten older and started, training jiu-jitsu and competing in jiu-jitsu is my body just takes a little bit longer to heat up. And I've noticed that when I do this progression, I feel exponentially better and overall less aches and pains. So we're gonna dive right in. I'm actually gonna change the angle so we don't have those big lights. We'll go from there. Now the key here, guys, is to feel a light stretch for the duration of all these drills, right? You're gonna feel some things moving around. If you've got pain going on, obviously don't move into pain, but you're gonna notice that a lot of these drills are gonna be sort of moving back and forth in a rocking fashion. So I'm gonna start off with is some basic quadruped rocks. Now, if you've followed trends in strength and conditioning, you'll notice that a lot of people do rocking. They're fantastic for a bazillion reasons, but one of the things I want to focus on right away is foot positioning. Specifically trying to gain some mobility in the feet and the toes. So I'm going to start my rocking drills with some slight plantar flexion, okay? And I'm actually going to rock back, okay? And then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to come and then stretch a little bit forward, okay? So I'm going to rock back, okay? And I'm going to come back. He'll get a little quad stretch and a little stretch in the front part of the foot. So this little flow feels really good. Come back, change the hand position, okay? Now what you can do as well is you can change the various foot positions to mold different parts of the ankle and the front part of the foot. If you followed any of the works of like Z Health, they've got toe pulls, inside toe pulls, outside toe pulls, etc. And that's kind of the idea, is to mold the different parts of the ankle and the foot. But this little progression feels fantastic, and then go from there. So you can also do the same drill, trying to gain some extension of the great toe and coming back. So what I like to do is I'll get into that extended position and I'll come back and I'll stay up on the tippy toes, okay? And then from here, I'll actually just work on moving the toes a little bit. Okay, sometimes I'll go wider, okay? And obviously the limitations in the big toe mobility is gonna be dictated by your hip position. Sometimes I'll come narrower, okay? But what I'm trying to do in this positioning is, again, gain some mobility in the big toe. So I try to spend a little bit more time on the feet, specifically when I'm grappling, okay? From here, I'm gonna show you my favorite other toe mobility drills. I like to come forward. I'm essentially gonna do some move over the big toe, over the middle of the foot, over the pinky toe, but I'm gonna come forward, I'm gonna drive the ball of my foot down, and I'm gonna get extension of the toe, and I'm gonna come forward, I'm gonna mold that toe. And again, I'm going over the pinky toe and maintaining the extension of that great toe. So I'm just gonna come forward, and then I'm gonna come over the middle, and then go over the middle, and then go wide over the pinky toes. So it's basically like a 3-position mold. One of my favorite ways to open things up. So I'll hit the other side, and I'm gonna come forward, to drive it down. And the cool part of this progression is you can use your hands to take some of the pressure off if it's too intense. We're gonna come here and, okay, if I need to have a little bit more base, that's fine. So go over the big toe, go over the center, and then lastly, go over the pinky toe. So nice little sequence for the lower body. From there, I'm gonna go into progression that covers sort of adductor rocks, open up the hamstrings, and also working on a little bit of external rotation of the hip. So in this adductor rock sequence, I like to, I'm gonna show you right here, I'm gonna be plantar flexing the bottom leg, okay? And I'll just mess around with this position. Sometimes I'll rock and I'll try to mold the foot a little bit, okay? Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll come in and I'll sit down. And this is a position that if you train any, floor-based martial arts, you're gonna notice you're rolling up on the knee a lot. But anyways, so if we're coming through and we're trying to mold the adductor a little bit, we want the feet straight. And from here, we're just gonna mold back and forth, blah, 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 blah. From here, I'll move into a plantar flex ankle and I'll come back. From here, I'm gonna focus on externally rotating at the hip. Now, when I do this, the only thing that should be moving would be the hip. So I'm gonna try to stay as square as possible. I'm gonna try to externally rotate, and then come forward. Try to externally rotate and then come forward, okay? Sure, there's gonna be a little bit of movement going on in my upper body, but that's fine. I'll do about 10 to 12 of those rotations. And then from here, I'll support my leg and I'll just do some plantar flexion and dorsal flexion, okay? Very good. So up here. And obviously I'm gonna do this on both sides. What I like to do from here is, you've probably seen the world's greatest stretch, you know, hand step with a rib pull, etc. I like to play around with that stretch, and again, try to hit those spots of my mobility in my hip that I normally don't give attention to. So we're gonna go here. From here, what I'll do is I'll actually take my hand and I'll place it over the pinky toe. So one of the things I can do is I can actually add a little bit of ankle mobility. But I'll rock over. I'll get, you know, I'll work on my glutes a little bit. Change my angle, I'm gonna lean forward. And I'm just playing around with this position. And you'll notice everything that I do is gonna be essentially rocking in and out. From there, I like to go into a pigeon stretch. And from the pigeon stretch, I like to focus on having a roughly right angle. And then what I like to do here with the back leg is I'll just actively walk it back, okay? So from here, I've got a nice pigeon stretch, okay, a nice sort of external rotation here, and we've got a little bit of abduction, slight external rotation here, but if you want to add the T-spine in, you just go cross body, and you can go palm up, and then from there just lean. I believe there's a variation of the Bretzel out there that's similar to this. I think Brandon Hetzler may have put it together, but essentially we're trying to, you know, take care of the hips and the T-spine at the same time. But what I like to do is, you know, try to reach, try to get a little bit of T-spine rotation. You can take your fingertips. So what I'll do is, I'll start my mobility work with toes and ankles, work up to the hips, hit the T-spine, maybe do some dedicated shoulder work, and then I will add in get-ups, windmills, bent presses, stuff like that. So I'm starting my movement-based approach with some dedicated mobility work, and then I'm following it up with some motor control or some stability work. So that's the process that I try to use to make things stick. So I feel like one of the biggest issues people have with their inability to improve their movement quality is the fact that they only chase one thing. They're like, I've been doing a bunch of stretches, I've been doing a bunch of this, and it's not working. Well, what are you doing to cement that newfound range of motion? How are you adding motor control strategies into your mobility strategies? And I think that's where a lot of people miss things. And I think also you need to get on the ground and explore some ranges of motion and feel areas that you wouldn't necessarily feel. Like, let's just say you've been in a movement screen. I'm a huge fan of the FMS, and I use it with everybody. But for myself, I find that getting on the floor and finding those little nuances and ranges of motion are important for me to maintain my health. So really, really simple flow. Mess around with it, guys, but I encourage you to just get on the ground and have a little bit of fun with it, play. You know, add in some somersaults, add in some basic stuff. Just get down on the ground and have some fun with it. And then obviously, if you want to spend a little bit more time with your kettlebell work and doing some get-ups, or if you've seen the SOS get-up or any of those other things, it's a great way to cement that newfound mobility. So kind of a quick one for today, guys, but appreciate it. We'll talk soon.